Hi guys, it's Miss Vial. I'm back. I'm super excited to read to you guys today. Today I'm going to be reading for you a nonfiction book. We'll be talking about that a lot this week. So if you can't remember, nonfiction books are books that have lots of text features, right? And we learn about different things through those text features. So nonfiction books also, you'll notice, have real pictures in them, real live cool pictures. And this book that I am going to read for you guys today is about frogs. So I picked this book because not only do I love frogs, but they also have a life cycle. So I know that Mr. Barker has been talking to you guys about life cycles. And here is another example of how animals grow over time and how they develop and change. So this is called Frogs. This is the front page. Frogs. Ooh, on the very first thing is the table of contents. The table of contents. We see chapter 1 is one happy family, and that page starts on page 4. We have chapter 2, a frog's life, and that chapter will start on page 12, right there. Chapter 3, the hungry frog, will start on page 20. Chapter 4, are frogs in trouble? Page 26 is when that starts. That sounds kind of interesting to me. I wonder what that might be about. And then it says, did you know? It's going to start on page 31 with some extra facts we might not know. And then the end, words to know, page 32. That, I bet, might be something like the glossary, where we can find the definition of some words that we might not know. So right down here, you can see there is a picture of a frog, and right away, I see a caption. And this caption says, bullfrog on a lily pad. So that tells us what this picture is about and what it's doing. All right, chapter 1. One happy family. Now you can see in this picture, there's lots of cool looking frogs. And based on the title of this chapter, One Happy Family, I bet that these frogs right here are part of the same family. Now over here we've got to get used to this camera. Over here we have got our caption, and I'm going to go ahead and read that to you because remember, captions are important and they tell us what's going on in the picture. So this caption says, 3 red-eyed frogs, one with an inflated vocal sac. Now that just told me a couple of different things. It told me that these are red-eyed tree frogs. So we can see that their eyes are red, yep, and they live in trees. And it also says that one has an inflated, which means like a big swollen kind of sac, which is like under its neck right here. All right, let's go ahead and start reading. Ribbit, 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 can you hear the frogs? Every kind of frog has its own call. That is how frogs find each other. All right off the bat, I see another text feature all the way up here. And it says, a bullfrog in Virginia. We live in Virginia, and that's so cool. We can read about it. So this is a bullfrog, and they live in Virginia, and we might not have known that if we didn't read the caption. So that's awesome. And then over here, we've got another picture with a caption right down here. This caption says, salamanders are amphibians too. So that is a salamander, that little red thing. It says frogs are amphibians. So I hope that maybe we will read and find out what the word amphibian means. Amphibians are animals with backbones, there we go, that live both on land and in water. Amphibians are cold-blooded. Their body temperature changes when the temperature around them changes. Take a close look at a frog. So this page is pretty awesome because look at all these text features that we've got going on this page. We've got labels, right, that point to different things on this picture. We have a heading, which is in bold at the top of the page. I see a caption right over here, right there. And then I see lots of bold words, right? Bold words are words that are super important and that we might not know. So let's keep a close eye out for those while we read. Take a close look at a frog. Frogs and toads look a lot alike. Sometimes even experts cannot tell them apart. So skin. Frogs have smooth, wet skin. Hind legs. Frogs have long back legs. They use them to leap. Leap means to jump. Webbed feet. Extra skin between the toes helps frogs swim faster. All right, and then over here we have a label pointing to the eyes. Now, sometimes when you're reading, you might not know what they're labeling and what they're trying to explain, so that's why they have these skinny little lines to go ahead and show you what they're trying to talk about. All right, so eyes. Most frogs and toads have bulging eyes, which means big, big eyes. You see those? They can see in front, to the sides, and partly behind them. Isn't that awesome? All right, and then they have front legs. Frogs use their short front legs to prop themselves up. And then they also have tympanic membranes. That is a big, long word. I don't know if you guys can see it. Right over here. Now, frogs and toads have eardrums, so those are kind of like their ears, but they're on the surface of their skin, and they have very good hearing. Now, before I flip the page, I can't forget to read this caption because we might learn something even more interesting and something new. All toads are frogs. Most toads live on land. They usually have dry, warty skin and short back legs. There is little or no webbing between their toes. So that's something that's a little bit different about toads versus frogs. I'm already learning something. I don't know about you guys. All right, here we go. We got some more cool pictures. All right, so once again, we have a caption. This caption says desert spadefoot frog. That's a cool looking frog. Looks kind of like it's using camouflage even to blend in with the mud. You remember that word? All right, and then down here we have another caption, African clawed frog. Now, it doesn't look like they really have claws, right? But maybe their feet are webbed differently, all right? Let's take a look at what they are telling us over here. And we have a big heading or a title right over here. Frogs live in many habitats. Most frogs like to be wet. They live near ponds, swamps, and lakes. But some frogs live in the desert. They go underground to stay cool and wet. Right, A Frog's Life. We are on chapter 2, as it says it there. All right, let's keep going. All frogs begin life as an egg. So I could have maybe made a prediction before I started reading about the title. It says A Frog's Life. Now that tells me maybe we're going to learn about how they grow, what their life is like. So use these titles to help you predict. That is one of the benefits and really cool things about text features is they help us kind of figure out what we're reading. So all frogs begin life as an egg. Some frogs lay as many as 10,000 eggs. Isn't that crazy? That's a lot of eggs. Most frogs do not protect their eggs, but the male mountain coqui frog keeps a close watch. So I might be like, I don't know what a male coqui frog looks like, but luckily for us, there is a big, nice picture, and the caption here tells us a male mountain coqui frog with eggs. So we know that that is a coqui frog, and that's what they look like. All right, a tadpole hatches from a frog egg. That's the first step. It has a long tail and gills like a fish. The tadpole swims, eats, and grows. It goes through a change called a metamorphosis. See if you can say the word metamorphosis. It's a big word. Just means change. Gradually, the gills disappear and lungs form. Down here, it says, red-eyed leaf frog, tadpoles in Costa Rica. Over here, it says a male golden poison frog carrying tadpoles. Do you see that? Just getting, see if you can see it a little bit better. There we go. So this frog is a golden poison frog, and it's carrying little tiny tadpoles on its back. Isn't that cool? All right, here we go. Now this looks like a frog with a tail. All right, a European froglet. I wonder what a froglet is. Maybe they're the smaller frogs with tails. The tadpole begins to look like a frog. Yep, here we go. Its legs form and its tail shrinks. At about 12 weeks old, the tadpole becomes a froglet. Soon its tail will disappear. Ooh, look at these. These are called strawberry poison dart frogs. I bet they're called strawberry because they're so red. I don't know if you guys can tell. They've got red bodies and like blue legs and blue arms. It's kind of crazy looking, huh? The planet is hopping with frogs. Frogs can be green, gray, yellow, and orange, red, or blue. There are nearly 5,000 kinds of frogs. Scientists keep finding new species. So right down here, it says how big, okay? And it looks like they've got a little picture of a frog on a pencil eraser and a frog next to a computer. So maybe there's different kinds of sizes, right? The Cuban tree frog, or tree toad, is one of the world's smallest frogs. It only grows to be half an inch long. So that's like the size of a pencil eraser. That's as big as those toads get. That's really tiny, right? The Goliath frog is the world's largest frog. It can grow up to 15 inches long. That's as big as a computer keyboard. So you can see that the pictures there. That helps us kind of better visualize and see what they mean by that. All right, we're going to be on chapter 3 now, the hungry frog. Now look at that picture. You can see its tongue. All right, and I'm going to make a prediction that in this chapter, we're going to hear about what frogs might eat and how they eat and all of the cool stuff that we can learn with that. Oh, before I keep reading, we've got one little caption down here. It says, White's tree frog. So that's the name of this frog. Some frogs eat spiders, snails, slugs, earthworms, and insects. They catch bugs with their long, sticky tongues. Frogs eat insects that can destroy farmers' crops. Big frogs eat big meals. They eat mice, small reptiles, or even other frogs. Frogs use their eyeballs to swallow food. Huh, that sounds interesting. By blinking, a frog pushes food down its throat. Interesting. There he is. He's eating, looks like maybe a salamander. Oh, I was wrong. Over here in this caption, it says South American bullfrog eating a walking stick. So I don't know if you guys have seen those before, but they're these little tiny skinny little bugs that kind of look like a stick that's walking. And a lot of times they're green or brown to kind of blend in and use camouflage. Some frogs have favorite foods. The Madagascar mantella frog mainly eats ants. Look how cool that one looks. The ants contain poison. This makes the frog's skin poisonous. And then over here it says Madagascar mantella frogs. So that's what they're talking about, these really bright looking frogs. All right, chapter 4, look at these big words at the top. I know that that is the title of this chapter and that this is going to be the heading for this page. Look at these super bright blue frogs. So fun. Many frogs have poisonous skin. The most poisonous frogs are brightly colored. This warns animals that these frogs are not safe to eat. So the brighter the frog, you know that, oh, those are poisonous. We don't want to eat those, right? So that's kind of a warning for animals. Over here, it says blue poison dart frogs. Those are really cool. Those might be my favorite. All right. Some frogs use camouflage to protect themselves. There's that big C word again that we've talked about a lot in science, right? Camouflage is something that animals use to protect themselves from getting eaten or to help them from being found, right? So here we have some frogs in this picture. I don't know if you can see, but it says they blend into trees, plants, and dirt wherever they live. The Vietnamese mossy frog looks like a big clump of moss. And then down here, it tells us right there that this is the frog. So you can kind of see its eye and its back legs a little bit over here, but it blends in so much that if you just looked at it right away, you wouldn't really be able to see it. But I know you guys have good eyes, so you probably can tell. But that's really awesome, and that's a really cool way to help these frogs survive. Okay, and then we've got over here just some backgrounds about the Muppets, the character, and it's just kind of using that as a way to talk about the Sesame Street frog, the Muppets. But that's going to be the end of our book. But before I go and before I close this book, I want you to see right here, it says words to know. Now we call this the glossary, right? Because the glossary tells us what each one of these words mean. And sure enough, that's what we've got right here. It's just a different word up at the top. Words to know. They have amphibian. Remember when we started the book and I was like, I might not know what amphibian means. That's a big word. Right here in the end of the book, in the very back, is where you can go to look it up. We've also got words like camouflage, right? It says to blend in with the surroundings. We kind of already knew that because we've talked about it in science a lot. But if you didn't know, you could look it up back here. Froglet, which is a young, small frog. Habitat, the place where the animal lives. Metamorphosis, the change from one stage to another stage. And then tadpole. Down here, we got a fun fact. Are you ready for this fun fact? I haven't actually read this yet, so it's fun for me too. All right, the wood frog can live in the extreme cold. It can survive for weeks with more than half its body frozen. Look at this picture. Wait, over here. It can survive with more than half of its body frozen? That's crazy. I didn't know that. All right, here we go. We've got frogs. End of the book, and I hope you guys saw all the different text features that were in this book and that you can see how they help us learn more. I have lots more books coming your way, and I'm super excited to read them to you. I hope you're doing great, and I hope you're safe, and I'm missing you all at school and on the playground. Even if you're not in my class and you're watching this, I hope you know I miss you as well, and I can't wait to see you guys back at Bellwood. More to come. Keep learning, keep reading. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.